uh, worrying us, or perhaps the concern for us, is how to create more jobs. Our economy has been expanding in the last 6 years, but this is happening at a time of about more than 20 years of stagnation. So as a result of that, there's been a cumulative effect of people, especially the youth, not being employed. So our biggest concern right now is to create more jobs in the country. Now, that goes with a lot of things like the need to create infrastructure that will be able to induce the private sector to come and invest. But the underlying factor is creation of jobs and wealth creation.
Well, you're going to be meeting the IMF leader on the 11th of March. What exactly are you going to ask from the IMF?
Well, not really much to ask of him, because in the just recently ending economic crisis, the IMF, I think they were very responsive to the needs of African countries. They gave us financing, so that is very fine. The key point that we are going to stress is that we are now in the mode where we require enhanced financing for us to put in place the infrastructure that I was talking about. With so much resources that we have, like wildlife, the land, and so forth, we believe we are in a strong position to attract the private sector so that they create wealth, they create the jobs. But what we require is the financing, because you cannot just send people in their game parks and say, go for tourism, because they'll ask the question, where are we going to stay? Inevitably, it means you need more hotels and lodges in the game parks. If you are going to have those hotels and lodges, the hoteliers will say, where is the road, or where is the airport that will lead me to the game parks? Similarly, in agriculture, if you say we have so much land that you can grow maize, wheat, and so forth, the farmers will say, where is the power that I will need to irrigate? Where are the roads that will require me to bring my inputs, and also after production for me to take to the markets? So the key message we are going to put to him is that we need development financing right now.
Many Zambians are not happy with the budget. They're finding it rather uninspiring at the moment. What do you think should have been done differently in the budget?
Well, I'm not sure whether so many Zambians find it inspiring. Of course, they've been, I've looked at the papers. There are some who call it uninspiring. But you have to look at the background of who is saying this. I think it tends to the people in the opposition. It's expected. They are expected to say that. But I think for those who are objectively minded, including the institution that you are talking about, the IMF, the World Bank, and professional people, they think we are on the right track, because when everybody else's economy was stagnating during this period of economic decline, the Zambian economy expanded by a very impressive 6.3%. And this will continue in the next few years. Now, for us to have achieved this, there were certain fiscal measures that were to take in place to protect this. So with that kind of delivery of growth of the economy, which goes with the build-up of employment, I don't see how anyone can say this is inspiring if they are well informed.
Let's go back to the IMF. The IMF is calling for Zambia to raise mining taxes purely because they want to alleviate poverty in the country, etc. But in 2008, we saw that the World Bank called on Zambia to increase windfall taxes as well. But that was eventually lifted because investors were unhappy with it. Is that going to be the same scenario with the mining taxes?
Well, see, sometimes there's a wrong impression created that the mining companies in Zambia, there's no tax on them. The truth of the matter is that there is tax on the mining companies. Every mining company is expected to pay income tax. They're also expected to pay royalty taxes. Royalty taxes is the tax that you pay for every quantity or ton of ore that you dig underground. They are also meant to pay, I think, a few other taxes, but the main taxes is income tax, royal tax, and of course tax on imports for those commodities or for those goods that are not eligible. So the taxes are there. Now, it so happens that some of the major mines, they are at that stage where they are investing a lot. They are buying equipment, recapitalizing the mines, developing the mines. Now, for every company in Zambia, including mining, at this stage of development, there's a tax holiday which is in place, which means that you do not pay tax until some time. So this is not contentious. The more contentious issue, so in short, therefore, the tax regime is there for mining like every other sector. The more contentious issue is that of windfall tax. Windfall tax is all about saying that the price of copper or any other commodity is extraordinarily high. Therefore, we want you, the mining sector, to pay a higher tax rate. Again, that is not contentious. It happens everywhere else. I think where we are quarreling about, what we are quarreling about is the way of capturing that tax arising from the high prices of copper. Now, in 2008, the windfall tax was put in place, yes. Now, this windfall tax was assessed on the basis of sales. You sell so much, therefore, we are going to ask you to pay so much in taxes. And this tax was graduating with the price of copper. The higher the price of copper, the higher the taxes. When it came to doing the assessment, it was discovered that, in fact, the taxes ended up being far too high. Now, the problem about this is that it was now going to discourage investment, because the mining companies were going to say, look, with this very high tax, why should we now invest for the future? And remember, in mining, the most important thing is always continuous investment and continuous exploration.